Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 3-0 Take, where we talk all things Major League Baseball. Here's Kyle Corwin and Nate Reyes. It all starts right now.
Welcome back to the 3-0 Take, presented by SeatGeek. This is episode 355. I'll be your host, Kyle Corwin. I'm here with my co-hosts, plural, Nate Reyes, and the return of Ryan Ripken. Gentlemen, how are we doing?
I'm doing good. How about this? Us three. Look at us.
The gang's back together again.
Us.
Feels good.
Feels right.
The people have been clamoring. They said, "Where's Ryan? Where's Ryan?" I said, "Ryan is on quite literally every other podcast right now except ours." But we finally got him. We got him back.
Every local Baltimore / inner DC area, Baltimore Loop, local network news anchor. Are you an anchor now? Like, is that what you get to call yourself? An analyst, a specialist?
I think I'm called an on-air talent, an analyst.
Ooh.
Maybe. I know on-air talent sounds a little bit more, sophisticated. It's honestly, that's part of the work. It's been nice to be in a little bit more demand, but still trying to figure out how to talk on TV, do radio pregame with the O's. I'm not ducking you guys. I mean, honestly, I wasn't getting the call a lot, to be like, hey, come back on. No, but it's our first one of the season, right?
Calling
been that long.
So, first in-season episode with Ryan. Ryan, if you had to craft, like if we're looking at your resume right now, what's currently on there? Because we've got former professional baseball player, and now I guess
that's still there.
We've got podcaster, we've got on-air talent, we've got. Would you consider yourself a camp instructor, private instructor?
Yeah, I think so. Camp instructor, yep. I feel like we're going to go out to the woods, and
I don't like that one. Yeah.
I don't like camp instructor. I don't think I'm made for the outdoors, but hey kids, let's, no, it's not, I'm not going to be able to help anyone build
our own bat.
Yeah. We're going to go down and chop down this tree. Yeah, no, I'm not built for the outdoors in that component. I wish I was. Need to get better. But yes, I'm doing instruction. I do camps and clinics for the baseball warehouse in the Baltimore region, private lessons, podcaster, have my own stuff there with off script.
Yeah, I don't know if you've had a chance to plug the pod. Plug the pod, because I think you launched that post the last time you were on with us.
Yeah, has it really been that long? I guess so. Yeah, so my own pod, Off Script with Rip, that's kind of become the podcast and kind of the own brand. It's a little bit of everything. Doing an Orioles podcast with Baltimore and Fox 45. It's called the Rip and Rock podcast. That's the other one you guys are probably seeing me jump on. And yeah, I do pregame Orioles every couple weeks with 105.7 The Fan. You can stream that on Odyssey if you guys really miss hearing my voice that much. But yeah, this is where it all started, guys. I whenever you guys want me back, I know all of our teams are kind of doing well in the American League East and all, but we can still be friends.
Yeah, we'll have you on as long as the O's are doing well, but the second they fall off the cliff, the calls might become less and less. Possibly non-existent. I don't know. No, it's all right. I still have that hat that you wanted that you did want. It's sitting on. Well, I was hoping to maybe just catch up with you in person one of these days, but it's still sitting upstairs on the dresser, waiting for you.
I'm closer now, and because of that I'm closer. For those, I'm more in the District of Columbia now. We don't even have to go to an Orioles game. We can go to lunch. We can go to a Nats game. We can be neutral. Don't have to root for either.
I was just at the Nats game yesterday. I was at the Mother's Day game.
Wow,
that was my first 2023 Major League in-game experience with a pitch clock and the pizza box bases and all that. It was an interesting experience.
Everything you hope for?
I'll be honest. The pitch clock.
Oh.
It maybe it's because the game dragged on a little bit just because of the quality of play. The Mets have been garbage. The Nationals have been garbage. It was just a slower game. I mean, I'm not going to complain about catching a game, but all that said, the pitch clock didn't bother me as much as I thought it would. Hand up.
There it is. And you had Scherzer yesterday, right?
Yeah. Scherzer threw well. I think the Mets put up like 8 in an inning, but all in all, it was a good time. But I say that to say, yes, Nats game, O's game. I mean, it would be more fitting if it was an O's game for sure. But
naturally,
if I can find a tiny window inside your schedule where it has to be a Nats game, it's closer. I'll do that too. It's all good.
Hey, you can fly me out.
Yeah, then we can fly Nate out. It'll be a good time.
We'll put that. Will that go towards your guys' expenses, my expenses?
No. That's yours. So you got 12 different shows. Yeah.
Yeah. You're okay. You've taken off. You've got us now.
My only question for you is that when you go on TV, do you do your own hair, or are they doing your hair for you?
I do no makeup, and everything's all Ryan. So
Oh,
that slick back look is like, I know that you're bringing heat. When
is that good though? Because I've gotten I guess different reviews. I've gotten, hey, it looks good, or like, man, and then I've also gotten like, that hairline's up there, or like, man, that's too much grease. You're too gassed up. And but you just gotta work with what you got.
Be the guy, maybe first ever, to go on with the suit, the full suit that you go on with, and a hat.
Oh,
I could see it.
Best of both worlds.
Tennis shoes are in with suits, so why not throw the hat on?
Yeah, I mean, if that's in, the hats have to be in.
Yeah, but again, I'm a rookie. I gotta earn my way. I gotta figure out what I'm doing. I still sometimes don't know where to put my hands. I'm a big talker with my hands. Where to look, goodness, So, yeah. Before we get the hat going, and I have this on because the hair is just all over the place. Sure. There might be still some gel in there from earlier, from yesterday. Yeah. No judgment here, guys. Don't look at me that way.
No judgment.
What does the lady think? That's all that matters. What does she think of the slick back hair?
Nah. Doesn't want to talk about it.
No comment.
No comment. Let's get into some baseball here. Let's run through the series outcomes from over the weekend, starting with the series I just alluded to. The Mets over the Nationals. The series is actually ending today. I don't know if you guys saw, the only reason I was aware of it is because we had to figure out plans for Mother's Day. But they made on Saturday night, it was raining out here. And they made the fans wait for 4 hours. And then they said, we're going to resume the game tomorrow, meaning Sunday. And they said, we're going to make it, which they were the Mets broadcast was talking about how this was like unprecedented. They made it a split admission doubleheader, but they only played from the third inning on for the first game. And then if you wanted to stay for the Mother's Day game that was supposed to be at 1:30, which then got moved to 4:30, you had to then pay a separate admission for that game as well. And people were just losing their minds because they're like, any other day, whatever. But the fact that you do this on Mother's Day just
that really
ruins
some
plans.
Mother's Day dinner plans for sure.
It was
that's
a mess. It was a mess.
Did Mama Corn enjoy it? That's all that matters.
It was a great time. It was a great time. She loved it. The weather was great. They wore the old Blossom City Connect unis. It was just a good time. Good time at Nationals Park. The Guardians over the Angels. Josh Naylor with a 3-run homer on Sunday. That was his third go-ahead homer in the series.
That guy only hits clutch home runs.
Only clutch homers.
It's annoying.
And yet I think he's still unclaimed in our fantasy league. So it's a real hot and cold hit or miss thing with Josh Naylor, apparently. Ryan's Orioles over the Pirates. That was my series to watch last episode going into the weekend. Cedric Mullins went for the cycle, and Mitch Keller struck out a career high 13 on Sunday.
He was pretty lights out. He was pretty good.
The guy was nails.
Yeah, I actually faced him, by the way, growing up or when I was with the Nationals organization. What he did there to the Orioles lineup is what he did to me every single time. My confidence was at an all-time low. Dude's good. Dude's pretty good.
Does he stay a Pirate? That's the only question.
Hey, they extended Brian.
They like
Reynolds,
to deal
right?
those guys away, so
Well, you never know.
Farm system for the rest of baseball. Although, who knows? They may have turned the tide here over the last year or so. Ryan, thoughts on the bird bath? Because it made its debut this weekend. And I have to say, I believe it was Friday night. It was Friday night, right? Where they had like what seemed to be 35, 40 extra base hits in the game. So the waterworks were plentiful out there in section 80, whatever.
Yeah. It's funny because Baltimore, it's a hot topic, right? And I think that it was so needed, and I think it was a big success. I think everyone that I've talked to has been great. My partner with the Rip and Rock podcast, who I do all the TV and radio stuff, we were talking about it. I think the episode's coming out later today, but essentially it's just awesome to have fans involved. Like, to feel like you're engaged with the team, I think makes it that much better. And then the fact that there's someone just spraying a hose out there left and right, it's just cool. I mean, the Camden Yards, it's just buzzing down there right now. A lot of good vibes in Baltimore.
Does it stay though? Because you see these things that like the clubhouse only hangs on to this stuff for the year. You know what I mean? Like the Yankees with the thumb down thing and certain home run celebrations. So I'm like,
well, it might be their version of like the judge's chambers thing where
that's true.
It's not
that's a good way to look at
on field necessarily.
Yeah.
So because it's kind of off the field, it may stick around a little longer. I don't know.
Or
Did
it could
we see
just
any
spitting. No, I don't think from the fans. I don't think that's.
I was only nervous about that.
Yeah, I think they tried to make it more, more sterile, than what the players do.
I want to know what the job application list looked like for the guys with the super soaker guns that were just getting to spray people. Get paid to do that? Sure, I'll do that. Sign me up.
Sounds nice. I haven't shot one of those spray guns since I was probably 8 years old. Maybe.
Back when you're doing the Quaker State commercials?
It was right around there. You know what? I got to go.
That was Ryan's prime.
I peaked at 8. And a blonde hair, bowl cut. Actually, they did a portfolio about me transitioning into radio, and they brought up around that time of the Quaker State. I'm shocked they didn't throw that in there. But yeah, you guys got to come to Baltimore. I haven't seen it yet in person myself, but I'll tell you what, the city is buzzing around the team. So it's, even though that Mitch Keller gave it to him on Sunday, the team and the city is a rejuvenation that they haven't had in years.
Love it. The Rays and the Yankees split. Taylor Walls hits a tie-breaking grand slam on Sunday, and they win. I believe the Rays won 8-7. Is that correct, Nate? On Sunday?
Yeah, that was a tough one.
Yeah, so
Close
Rays
to a series dub, but that was a good series.
That was really good. Really great series.
Bad bullpen performances, for sure.
Wasn't going to say, Nate, wasn't the first two games each team had like a 5-0 lead, and then the opposing team ended up coming back to win?
Yep. Yeah, and yesterday's game was tough. The umpiring was rough on both sides for sure. Strike zone was kind of all over the place. Both sides were complaining, but it's one of those things. There was a strikeout that absolutely happened, but instead turned into a walk, and then Walls hits the grand slam. So inning should have been over, but gotta do what you gotta do. Good for the Yankees to split against them. I think that's a good series.
Hey, credit where credit's due. That's a big. Are the Rays have now reached double-digit losses, right? with that
yeah,
split?
they're at 11 now.
11, yeah, because they were 9 going into the weekend.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is astounding to think it's May 15th.
Absurd.
Blue Jays sweep the Braves. Chris Bassett throws a complete game shutout on Friday, which was the Blue Jays' first 9-inning shutout in roughly 8 years, going back to Mark Burley in 2015.
Wow.
Hey now.
Blue Jays secure the sweep thanks to a Danny Jansen 2-run walk-off single on Sunday. Mariners over the
no getting dirty. Did you see that? No laying out from Austin Riley at third.
Yeah, I
kind
saw
of just
that.
this squeaker through the 5-5 hole, and I was like, gonna need you to lay out there. Try to knock that ball down. Interesting. Just saying.
Questionable. Mariners over the Tigers. Seattle rookie right-hander Bryce Miller shuts down the Tigers for 7 innings on Saturday. Miller has given up just 1 run on 7 hits while walking 1 and striking out 18 over 19 innings. The Reds over the Marlins. Marlins welcome 202 dogs for Bark in the Park on Sunday. I bet you didn't know that. And rally to salvage the series finale and snap a 5-game home losing streak. So, in other words, dogs equals wins.
Makes sense.
More Bark in the Parks.
Yeah.
It's
no brainer.
It's pretty clear.
I mean, the correlation is evident. Twins over the Cubs. Twins throttle the Cubs on Sunday by a score of 16-3. Minnesota hit 8 home runs over the final 2 games of the series, and the 29 runs in the series establish a Twins record for most in a 3-game series at Target Field.
Say what you will about the Twins. We talked about, and Ryan, you can speak to this too. Like, it's when it starts getting warm in Minnesota, you're going to see that lineup do what it's supposed to do. That's a good lineup. They know how to hit. And I think that's why you're seeing like the really solid pitching numbers. I mentioned that last time. We'll jab at Sonny Gray. No bias there. But, you're going to see that number climb back up. Minnesota's going to get warmer, and offensive numbers are going to be what they're supposed to be.
Yeah, I mean, everyone thought the Guardians, obviously coming off of last year, that young team taking the step, but the Twins still have, like you said, they have a solid team, and they're doing what they're supposed to. I mean, look, they're the only team over 500 in the AL Central, so I mean, they're still putting things together,
Disgusting.
and they're not, maybe not doing what they hope to do yet, if that makes sense. So. But yeah, the AL Central, that can be for a whole different topic. It's been tough sledding for the other teams.
I'm not
need a realignment.
No, I'm not giving up on the White Sox. I'm not giving up on the White Sox. Even though they dropped the series to the Astros, I mean, everybody saw that coming. But a big takeaway from the series, and really the last week or two as a whole, Luis Robert is back. Since getting benched, dude's been tearing it up. Homered for the 3rd consecutive game on Sunday, but the Astros get their 4th win in 5 games. The Brewers sweep the Royals. Christian Yelich, another name that's back, is batting .348, 16 for 46 with 4 homers and 12 ribbies in the month of May. So Yelich, like Soto, is a guy that just needed the calendar to turn.
Back's still a little stiff in April. Just going to stretch it out a little bit. Feel all right.
Yeah, I was telling people, I don't think people get that not everyone's getting off to a hot start. And then say you play 25 games in April, you got 137 left. A lot of people in Baltimore freaking out about Anthony Santander because he's only hitting 220. Last year he hit 220 with 3 bombs after the first month. The dude went on to hit 30 bombs the rest of the way. And just, you can't keep good players down. So just want to throw that little tidbit in there. Running around with Rye, Nate, or whatever the heck you said the new segment should be.
Run around Rye.
Yeah.
Just staying busy. The Phillies over the Rockies. Rockies get involved in a little bit of a scuffle. Bryce Harper's ejected in Sunday's 4-0 loss for the Phillies. Rockies have won 9 of 13 following an 8-20 start.
Cool.
Rockies might win the whole thing this year. That's my takeaway from this series. We'll get into the scuffle a little bit later, but moving on here. Rangers over the A's. Adolis Garcia hits another grand slam. Rangers beat the A's 11-3, pushing the A's to 9-33. What's the win percentage watch at right now?
Oh, come on now. We need that to fall a little bit.
Ryan, this may be news to you, but we are on win percentage watch with the A's because we're trying to see if
trying to break records
as rest of the as well as the rest of the baseball world. We're trying to see if the A's end up being the worst team in baseball history. And I think the win percentage, I don't even remember what the worst all time was, but we're just keeping an eye.
It was like 138
it was one something,
or something like that.
180 something.
Who was that?
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't remember. Oh, this is the Cleveland Spiders, right?
Spiders, yeah.
Oh,
it was
goodness.
18 something.
That's brutal.
Current win percentage is 214.
All right.
Negative 157 in run differential.
I love it.
Really
I love it.
Doing their part.
For the Rangers, it was the majors leading 10th time this season that they had scored 10 or more runs. No other team has done it more than 7 times. And for the A's, it's the most runs allowed through the first 42 games of the last 100 major league seasons at 316. The next closest team was the 1996 Detroit Tigers with 307.
Oh,
Would you say 316 over 42 games?
42 games.
Oh my goodness.
Just a casual 7.5 runs a game.
Casual. That's on average. That's average. Dodgers sweep the Padres. Dodgers win the 5th in a row in 13 of their last 15. Padres scored just 4 runs in the series. Padres have lost 5 in a row and 7 of 8.
5 in a row since that little thing on the scoreboard of Kershaw pouting. Did you see that?
Has it only been 5 games?
5 straight to the Dodgers because
to the Dodgers.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
Not all.
We'll touch on that series a little bit more. D-backs over the Giants. Lourdes Gurriel with a walk-off RBI double in the 9th on Sunday. D-backs take 3 of 4. That's a big division series for the D-backs. Still making noise. Cardinals sweep the Red Sox. I don't need to go too much into detail, but literally an episode after we get done talking about whether or not Kenley Jansen is a Hall of Famer goes out and blows back-to-back saves.
Sure.
That's just how that works, I guess. Back-to-back blown saves to start the series. Nolan Arenado, speaking of back, Nolan Arenado is back, goes 7 for 14 in the series with a home run in each and every game and tallies 7 ribbies.
Pretty good.
And that is how you trade low in fantasy for Nolan Arenado.
That's true. It's true.
It's an excellent pickup.
I needed the Red Sox to do a little bit better because my prediction of Ollie Marmol getting fired is 4 days away.
Yikes.
So
yeah, not good. Not good.
I needed the reversal of roles there. Red Sox just can't do anything for Nate.
Speaking of where the Cardinals are at, what they're doing, let's look at the standings here real quick. Starting in the American League East, we've got the Rays still on top, 31-11. We've got Ryan's Orioles holding it down in second, 26-14. Ooh, I like this. Major League Baseball added a little column here where it shows you their record in one-run games. I like that. And in extra inning games. I don't know if I've ever seen that before. Big fan. O's are 8-4 in one-run games, in case anybody was curious about that. Blue Jays 24-16. Yankees in 4th at 23-19, and following a sweep to the hands of the Cardinals, as we just talked about, the Red Sox are now sitting alone at the bottom, 22-19, 8.5 games back. In the Central, we got the Twins, 23-18, Guardians 19-21, Tigers 18-21, White Sox 14-28, and the Royals at a lowly 12-30, 11.5 games back. Yeah, we need to make some changes in OKC. American League West, Rangers holding it down still. Entering May 15th, Rangers are in first place.
I love it.
25-15. Astros 21-19, Angels 21-20, Mariners 20-20, and the A's are 9-33.
Pretty good.
That is not good.
I can't tell you how much that sucks. Like I just, I'm just gonna say it. If you've ever been on if you guys have been on a team that bad, not like I know, and I hate saying this, it's still a big league baseball team, but just the concept of,
is it though?
It is. Is it? It is. It is a big league team.
What qualifies or classifies them as a Major League Baseball team?
They're in the majors. They got 9 wins.
The only thing that makes the Oakland A's a Major League Baseball team is the fact that they have the MLB logo on the back of their hats. That's literally it.
Okay, well, I didn't realize that this was going to set off a very big talking point here.
No, it's that I put out this video when the A's, well, I say when the A's were doing terrible. It's been the whole season. I put out this video and I had all of these A's fans in the comments on YouTube saying, well, this guy just doesn't get it. The A's are awful. We know this. The ownership doesn't want to make any effort to improve the team. But the point that I made was that when the team was good, the fan support was still not there. And sure, we can look at these viral clips going around of what's his name? Balfour's entrance from the bullpen. I think that was like was it the ALDS? Was it maybe like a wild card game? I can't remember. It may have been the wild card game against the Rays because I think that was in Oakland. Anyway, just A's fans coming out of the woodworks. Like, you don't hear about them. You don't see them at the games. But then all of a sudden we come out and start talking in depth about how poorly the A's are playing. And then just out of nowhere, it seems. That's all. So that's why I get a little uptight when we're talking about whether or not they're a major league team, because I don't think they are.
Oh, I know. If I didn't know, I know now. And I already had the feeling, but
you missed this.
I do miss the banter, guys. I do. But what I was going with too,
you're not getting this banter on Baltimore channel 19 or whatever channel you're on. I can't remember. I watch, but I can't remember what channel
you watch?
it is. You're not getting this kind of.
You watch it live?
I do, because my favorite thing, actually, and I love that you do this, is you put out a tweet and you're like, "Hey, I'm going on Baltimore MA."
You almost had it. Fox 45 Baltimore. You were right there.
Fox 45 Baltimore.
Right there.
This is close.
And I just pull it up online because the channel broadcasts it live online, because obviously I couldn't watch it because I'm not in Baltimore. So
do you see my tweet?
I'll tune in.
So do you see my tweet when I go to get ice cream and then there's Cal sitting on the side of the street with the giant mural? Have you seen that one yet? You can go find that tweet. Okay. Yeah, it's a life.
And your daily coffee tweets. Ryan is a good follow on
this, guys. And we're trying to get better. But to my point, what I was going to say, being on a team that loses sucks. It sucks. I can't tell you where, and this is maybe in one case, I don't know what's worse, when you have hope and you do well to start a season, or there's zero hope from the get-go. Because I've been on both. I've been in situations where the team has... We start a season off in the minors. We won 7 in a row. We think we're the best team ever. And then we felt like the Monstars of the minor leagues, which was the Lakewood Blue Claws of the Phillies. And they completely annihilated us. And then we finished like 15 games, 20 games under 500. I'm like, I don't know what happened. I don't know what's more demoralizing. Or you win one of your first 12 games and you're like, well, this has been fun. I don't know.
If you're the Oakland A's, that's probably what you're looking at. You're looking around going, well, this is who we are. This is who we've been. This is who we always will be until we move to Vegas. To your point
with the A's, what I feel bad is, especially when people go, it's a tremendous opportunity for players, because it's the same thing that happened with the Orioles. They're trying to figure out who's going to be of value, whether they trade him or not. That's it's whatever. But if you go and prove yourself on a really bad team and you take advantage of your opportunity, that's going to help you stick. That gives you a chance. And that's what the Orioles tried to find out with years ago. The A's are going to have that too. And then if you get traded, you go to a situation where you can play for more. So you can still make a positive out of it, but it's hard knowing that your goal is not to make the playoffs. Your goal is just really try to get through the season and hopefully you have a job at the end of it. And that's kind of, I mean, we already knew that as the reality, but when we talk about the Red Sox, the Yankees, the O's, we're all talking about teams trying to win, like trying to go to the playoffs, trying to win titles. The A's are just trying to be like, man, how do I keep my paycheck? How do I keep my job for next year? So that's a tough thing that messes with your mind.
Yeah. How do I afford the soda in the clubhouse? Like these are just questions that they have to consider.
It's true. You're a football guy. Did you see Trey Lance pulled up to one of the games?
Trey? I did not.
Yeah.
I'm a big
sitting front row.
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
I don't know. I have no idea. And he's like kind of flexing about it in the video. And I'm like, I would go anywhere else, Trey. Go anywhere else.
Tough situation.
It's also a tough situation in Atlanta right now, having lost 4 straight. They're still on top of the division. They got a healthy 5-game lead over the Phillies. Phillies in second. Marlins sitting at 20-21 in third. Mets 20-21, 4-6 in their last 10. And the Nationals, having lost their Mother's Day finale, sitting at the bottom at 17-23.
Playing better than what you would expect, though.
Huh?
The Nationals are playing better than what you would expect.
Yeah, but we were talking about it yesterday. It's tough watching that team, dude. There's nobody to latch onto, like, at all. CJ Abrams is like kind of
struggling at short.
Yeah, he's like kind of a guy, kind of a name.
Yeah.
Right now for the time being. I mean, we all know the story about we all know the situation with Patrick Corbin. That's not a guy you're going to latch onto.
Yeah.
Keibert Ruiz, like, kind of hard to. They just don't have guys. It's just a hard team to follow. Like, Meredith was sitting next to me. She's the Nats fan of the two of us, obviously, and she was like, "I it's been a minute since I checked on the Nats. I don't know a single guy on this team." And I'm
tough.
like, that's where we're at with this team now. That's where we're at.
Well, I will say this Nats team, you're hoping the big guys when they traded away Soto was Abrams and Gore. Mackenzie Gore is a name that he's been off to a solid start too. I was just double checking because I was watching him and following. He's 3-2 with a 3.29. You know what I mean? So Josiah Gray, another pitcher with them, 2.96 ERA. So they have some guys that have the ability, but the biggest two names of that trade was Gore and Abrams right now, for like that you expected to see up there. And to your point, pitchers don't always get the recognition on teams unless the team's doing better. I feel like it's usually unless you're like that dominant, and then it's always going to be the position players. And for the first time since the Nationals came to DC, that they don't, like, Ryan Zimmerman became the face of the franchise even when the team was bad.
Yep.
They don't have a player like that anymore.
Yeah.
They hope that Victor Robles, and Robles is one of my former teammates, but he can't stay healthy either. So,
and your point about the pitching is great because Josiah Gray is a perfect example. The guy, if you look at the numbers, actually isn't as bad as what the numbers are showing, but he gets no run support. So even though he's having a solid start, given the circumstances, he just doesn't stand out the way you would hope he would because the team around him is horrendous.
Yeah. It's tough.
But to Nate's point, I'll give them credit. They're not in Oakland A's territory yet, but
same record as the Giants.
No, they're grinding.
Well,
they're grinding for what their expectations were to sit this season. If you'd tell me they're 6 games under 500, I'd say that's pretty solid considering the fact of when you look at the other teams in that division. It's a solid division. Like, you expect the Braves to be doing what they are, but I mean, everyone else is you're still in it technically. You know what I mean? Like, the Mets are 20-21, Marlins are 20-21, Phillies are at 500 at 20-20. So not again that you're expecting, but they're staying in it. They're staying in it so far through a month and a half.
National League Central, Brewers on top. Pirates have just been on a slide recently, 2-8 in their last 10. The Cubs in third at 19-21, Reds 18-22, and the Cardinals still in last place, 16-25. But they've won 3 straight, as we mentioned. So looking to carry that momentum into the new week. National League West, you got the Dodgers back on top, 26-15, 8-2 in the last 10, 5 straight, as I mentioned. D-backs in second, 23-18. Padres in third at 19-22, have lost 5 straight. Giants, 17-23, have lost 3 straight. And the Rockies at 17-24 in last place. That is your standings update entering May 15th. Let's talk about this Phillies-Rockies scuffle, shall we? First of all, can I just say, who is Jake Bird?
Never heard of her.
Who does this guy think he is?
I didn't even, he wasn't even dominant when he came out, right?
20 pitches and 8 of them were strikes. Forget the advanced analytics. That's all you need to know about yesterday's outing.
And chirping.
And I'm gonna be called a Harper homer here. But what further evidence do you need to know that like Harper is that guy? Fresh off of returning from TJ, what seems like the surgery just took place like a week ago. And he's the one that's out there going after Bird. I don't know where the rest of his guys were, but he's the one making an effort. And Bird, in classic fashion, puts his hands up, knowing that within mere seconds, he's going to be surrounded by a circle of teammates, umpires, coaches.
Yeah.
Clown.
Yeah. Bryce was feeling it this week, too, because do you see him getting chirped by fans?
Was he really?
Hits a dinger, comes back, and he's like, "What's up? What's up? Which one? What do you want me to do? What's up?" Coming back out of the dugout, still looking at him. I was like, "Oh, Bryce is feeling spicy. Spicy Bryce this weekend. I like it.
Spicy Brycey."
That's a good little thing. I looked up to just get a little bit more context of Jake Bird. And actually, he's had a solid season so far. 19 games. He's got 28 Ks and 27 innings. But to your point, the context of the situation, I'm always a guy that if you want to show, you don't want to back down. You want to stand your ground, but the right moments, I guess. Like, is it really worth it? I think that's what you can throw out there. But it is a game where emotions can be intensified. And to your point, Bryce was feeling already a little bit fired up, and it didn't take much to do it, to get them all going. So, yeah, but you know what? I will say this, like, it's good talking points for baseball too. Like, it's still entertaining. It's not like we're the same. It's not the old school brawls or situations, but it's something to talk about. Gets people talking about the Rockies too. No offense to that. It's just not a lot of people are talking about the Colorado Rockies in a more positive light. I mean, am I wrong with that or no?
Yeah, probably pretty accurate.
I think the only time that Nate has brought up the Rockies over the last 2-3 years has been a mention of their food and their bars.
Yeah. And it's
there's really nothing else to talk about.
And it's a great city, and I love the Rockies team. I mean, I still remember that run the Rockies had, you know, when they whatever that run would go to the playoffs, when they had the play-in game against, I think, the Padres, and they went all the way to the World Series and got swept by the Sox. But
2007,
like that was incredible. And to the point is right now, and whether it's good or bad, like this, the real talking point right now is we're talking about the Rockies only because of this brawl.
Poor ownership. You don't put anything back into it, right? And it's like you said, it's a great city. Ballpark's surrounded by entertainment around the city. There's plenty of stuff to do. People just show up casually. It's a great sports city in general. You see the Nuggets doing their thing. The Avs have been dominant lately. The Broncos are always, selling out. So it's like you have all of these fans ready to give it to you, but like, dude, you don't put anything back into it. You're always doing your thing ticket-wise. You're always selling tickets. beautiful backdrop. You got the sunset behind the Rockies back there. It's like, what are we doing? What sell it. I don't understand. You got all you need to succeed. Oh, well. It is what it is. Maybe Jake Bird will carry him to the...
Yeah. With his sub 500 strike rate. Yeah, love that.
Yeah.
My takeaway here, though, again, I'll say it again. The fact that you have Bryce Harper, what really is turning out to be a serious motion away from rupturing the elbow as the guy that's going out there wanting to smoke.
True.
Like, as much as he is that guy, like, that's a ballsy move.
They're worried about him, like, diving the wrong way in the outfield. And he's ready
out there,
to
like,
take
trying to throw down.
I like it.
Hey, you can't take the competitor out of the player, regardless of the circumstances. And to your point, he is getting hot. He is, in his last, he had a pair of 2-hit games, couple RBIs in both. And the Phillies,
no rehab assignments either.
Just like truly incredible. I mean, I think we do forget sometimes, like, just how good of a player he really is. He really, really is. I know you guys have the appreciation, but like, we are still witnessing one of the best players that we are going to see in our lifetime as a hitter.
It was the Phillies need this too. Pretty uninspired beginning of the year, in my mind.
I completely forgot. Did you see the part where he was out there talking about the Rockies being just garbage? Did you see how he was calling them a loser organization? He said, "You're a loser organization, every single one of you."
I wonder what he meant by that.
I'm here for it. I
mean, there's
read
like
between the lines a little bit. Did
he mix words?
There's personal, and then there's what he just said.
So what do you think he meant?
Bro, no one disagrees. I bet you some of the Rockies were like, you know what? He's got a point.
He's got a point. Maybe we should give him a fair shake.
I was looking this up out of curiosity. And since 2010, because I like going on there, according to StatMuse, since 2010, the Rockies have the third least amount of wins in Major League Baseball. Only below them were the Kansas City Royals and the Miami Marlins. So
it's such a waste, dude. Like, we talk about it with the Pirates all the time. Like, if this happened in, again, not to throw shade on Minnesota, but like, if you read that stat off and it was like the Twins have the third fewest wins, it's like, okay, so what? Who cares? Like, it's Minnesota. But they're sitting on a gold mine out there, like Nate just said. And that's what you put out there? Like, that's your product? It took this video for me to find out that Mike Moustakas plays for the Rockies. Didn't even know the guy was still in the league until I saw him pop up in front of Harper.
Definitely thought he retired, yeah.
I definitely thought he retired.
Brutal.
That's where we're at.
Baseball is better when the Rockies are a good team. Like, it's just one of the cities, one of the teams. It's a desirable place. Everything you guys are saying. And we're hearing so much about the same teams over and over again. And yes, like the Orioles now are going back up, but there's just, to your point, there's no reason. And the thing that's going to stink for Rockies fans, it's not like that division's getting easy. Like, the D-backs are on the way up now. You already have the Dodgers. The Giants are going to bounce back. It's not that this division's going to get any easier. Like, the Orioles made the effort. We know this is going to be rough, but we had to restart. They made the plan. They stuck to the plan, and here they are in the toughest division in baseball. The Rockies have to have that type of decision, because the Dodgers, as long as if there's no realignments, the Dodgers are going to be there. D-backs are coming. The Padres have spent $500 billion. That's just what you got. So I just want, please, I want the Rockies to be good again. I want to go out there and see the buzz around those places, because really Denver sports, that what they have going down there is an awesome fan experience.
Oh yeah. Let's go Nuggets.
Speaking of the National League West, speaking of the Dodgers Padres, as we mentioned, Dodgers taking all 3 from the Padres. With Sunday's win, the Dodgers have now taken 5 of their first 6 games they've played against the Padres this season. And they've done so by a combined margin of victory of 21-12. Including Sunday's game, the Padres have batted 194, 265, and 311 against the Dodgers with a 25% strikeout rate. Yeah. Dodgers are up to 10-2 in the month of May. So, like, we can get on the Padres for lacking any sort of consistency this year, but they did go up against a rather hot Dodgers team. So, cutting them a little slack here. Dodgers are up to 10-2 in the month of May with a plus 39 run differential. They've in addition to winning both series they've played against the Padres, the Dodgers have taken series from the Phillies, and the Brewers.
There is no slack. You don't have any slack. Not when you spent this much and you've given up this much to put this lineup out there. And you brought in a very high caliber manager to run things. So there's no slack. There's no excuse.
I guess what I'm saying is, like, yes, in a perfect world, they're consistent throughout the course of the season, and there's the slides are very minimal. But going into this weekend series against the Dodgers, they're clearly trying to figure it out, and it's unfortunate that they have to try to figure it out against one of the hotter teams in baseball. That's all I'm saying. But to your point, I agree.
A hotter team that is arguably kind of punting on any additions. You know what I mean? Like, they're waiting it out for Ohtani. So it's like, if there was ever a window to take advantage, it's now. With this roster, with this money you've spent, the prospects you've given up, with this, your big brother is kind of down and weaker than what you've used to. So it's like, there's no more excuses. They're out of excuses at this point. The Padres have to go. And it's not going to last much longer. Heads are going to roll if this season doesn't go into at least an NLCS appearance. The very minimum.
Their saving grace was beating the Dodgers in the playoffs last year. Like that was, we're ready. And this is, this is the crazy thing. The new format, it winning your division just doesn't carry the same weight anymore. So now you just got to get in.
Sure.
But from a mental standpoint, you don't want to be struggling with the amount of guys. And everyone's like, Fernando Tatis Jr. is back. He's been playing solid, especially offensively, right? It's, he's a good player. Whether how you feel about the steroid stuff or not, he still puts up good numbers. And again, that's a whole other topic. But I'm going to cut him some slack. It's just they're going to have chances. But when the time comes at the end of the season, when the playoffs hit, whether they win the division or they're the last wild card team, whatever it is, to your point, Nate, it's not going to be, well, we're happy to be here. It's no. We better be getting to the big series. We better be getting to the one that we can win the World Series.
And it's still early.
Very early.
For sure. I'm not saying that they're in trouble by any means. No. I think they're fine, but I think it is this added pressure, and you have, guys that are kind of on this like return tour for Tatis of trying to prove everybody wrong. You have a guy that's about to go make $500 million this offseason in Soto. You know what I mean? You have these guys in place, and you're just kind of waiting for everything to ignite. And I'm not comfortable. If I'm in the front office, I'm not comfortable sneaking into the playoffs in a wild card spot. You know what I mean? Because that's not what we spent this money for. We spent this money for dominance, and they should dominate on paper. When you look at it, they should dominate. So it's got to come. And I would say if it's not here by this time next month, yeah, we're going to have to start, making some adjustments.
I will say this. I was thinking about expectations for a team. And maybe because I was with the Nationals at this time in the minors. When Matt Williams was the manager of the Nationals, and it was his second year, and they had this juggernaut of a team who I think we remember this. They were the World Series favorites, if I'm not mistaken. And that type of expectations, which the Padres, I'm not saying that they were the World Series favorite, but they were one of the favorites to win. But that Nationals team got off to, they fell flat on their face. And that was the year the Mets ended up going to the World Series too, I think, right? The Mets got hot, went to the World Series, lost to Kansas City, I believe, is the year. But
15,
I think so. So all the expectations for the Nationals, we have the roster, and you can feel it. But as this slow months, you shouldn't panic at all. But having said that, the expectations are not going to go away. The drum's only going to beat louder if this team is 4 games under 500 in June. If they're not over 500 in July. Again, I believe this team's really good. But that expectations, it starts to weigh on guys. And then sometimes it can get so much in your head. Because I saw that with the Nationals firsthand. You could just look at it being like, what is going on? And guys didn't know how to get out of it. So we're going to find out. But it's fun. It's May. But it's a good talking point. Good to stir the pot. Nate likes to stir the pot.
Love to stir the pot.
Nate loves talking about heads rolling. There's nothing better.
Sell the team, move out of the city, fire coaches, trade away your stars.
Speaking of which, let's just get Ryan's take on this real quick, and then we'll move on to our next topic. Ryan, keeping it brief, do you think the White Sox should sell the team? Because Nate, for what seems like consecutive episodes at this point, has talked about how the White Sox need to just burn it down. Well, I think he corrected himself. I don't think he wants...
I don't know. You can't say burn it down talking about Chicago.
Yeah.
So too soon.
Disband, dissolve the team, something like that. Something a little safer.
Talk about comments you can't say on the news.
Oh, gosh.
What we're not trying to incite anything here. He believes that they should just disband, dissolve the team, and relocate. And I said that's just sensationalism at its finest. What is your
I don't think sell the team is the case, but talk about a team that had a lot of money invested. You're going to be at a crossroads come July. And right now you're lucky that the division is not very strong. But the Twins are still playing some pretty solid baseball. So whatever happened,
not Carlos Correa. Sorry.
Just had a whammy right then and there. To keep it brief with it, I don't think selling the team, but you're really at this decision where Abreu moves on. You have these players that you locked up, some of these young guys that you thought would be superstars, new manager. And so far, things could not have gotten off to a worse start through the first month and a half. And you're really going to have to evaluate come the All-Star break and trade deadline of if you really are going to move on from this team, because your goal is to be the world.
Just get out of Chicago.
No.
Just get out. Cubs run this.
Did you see the video yesterday? I think it was from yesterday's game. It was like the lip reading. I don't know if he actually said it, but Tim Anderson. Where they think he said, "I hate it here" when he was on first base with Jose Abreu. I don't know if that's what he actually said, but
he's gone anyway.
I just think it's I could see it.
It just goes again to a team when you're expecting more, you have these hopes, and then things just go wrong, and you're sitting up and being like, "This is miserable." Like what just happened? We are supposed to be good. Like what is going on? Like, and even if we're not as good as last, like, hey, we're gonna fix some of the issues. We're out there to prove, and all of a sudden, injuries again. Not enough production, and you're sitting there going, well, who are we? Who are the Chicago White Sox? And I, one of my close friends, Gavin Sheets, on the team, and I'm watching them, and
he texted you.
No, he did not. Don't you do that to me. Don't you do that to me, Ricky Bobby. No, but the point is, it's, without him even, like, just without any of the guys, you can just tell it's a disappointing situation. But if what are you going to do? You got to put your head down and grind. But if you were to,
well, like we mentioned, you got a guy like Eloy heating up. That stuff is contagious.
Luis.
So
it's Luis.
Luis.
Eloy is he even playing anymore?
Yeah, who knows? But you got a guy like Luis heating up. That stuff's contagious. That's all it takes. We've seen it before. That sometimes that's all. Sometimes
if you would tell me right
certainly.
now, I think this is why it's so shocking. If you would tell me right now that the White Sox not only were in 4th place, that they were only 2 games ahead of the Kansas City Royals, that are considered one of the worst teams, I would say, I would say you're full of it, just completely full of it. But when you look at that, you're looking at it. They are 2 games ahead of the Kansas City Royals. The Detroit Tigers are now ahead of them and not just by a couple. Like they're up 4.5, no 5.5.
No, so Tigers are 4 games.
They're 5.5 back from the Tigers,
and they have a worse run differential than the Tigers and the Royals.
So my point is, so that's where it is. It's going, man. So to your point, Nate, not selling the team, but talk about a team that's going to have to make some really tough decisions, and it's that one that they are in next month or so. We're going to find out a lot more, but I hope for the White Sox, because I want my guy Gavin and those guys to do well. There's a lot of good guys, but man, is it tough in Chi-City or Chi-Town.
It's early. I believe in the White Sox.
I do too. I just it stinks. Nate, I don't think you do.
No, move, get out, go to South Dakota or something.
Okay,
no, yeah, because that's the answer.
Any place else you could have said, and maybe we would have said something else. But.
Yeah, would have entertained literally any other option, but South Dakota.
They might as well be in South Dakota.
No.
Same production.
The Cincinnati Reds City Connect jerseys, what are our thoughts?
Don't start.
Notice how I left it for last, because
I'm out. I'm out on City Connect jerseys. I'm done,
dude. I'm done. And it's not even a knock on the uniforms. I'm a sucker.
The uniforms aren't bad.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for black, man. Put a black on any sports uniform, even if it's not your color. Which not the case with the Reds, but just generally speaking, I'm all about it. But the concept of the City Connect thing, I'm out. They've lost me. There's no vision. There's no direction with this concept anymore. It's just, cool. What are we doing? And you guys may have seen something. I didn't see any of those like little infographics this time around where it was like given the breakdown as to like what's what. I didn't see those because it's possible that there's really no explanation for what they did this time around. I don't know.
I just saw that they had black pants, so I stopped looking.
Yeah, I don't really have.
I mean, at least it's the same color. It's consistent top bottom.
I don't really have an opinion either. Like I'm really indifferent. And it's coming from a guy that's worn a lot of weird jerseys over the years. Some were cool, some not so cool. Just going through the other day.
What's the weirdest you can
remember? It depends on if you're going by color coordination. In Norfolk, we wore bright orange pants, but I don't know. I was kind of feeling it because you know what? It was a long year, not the best for the Tides, and I was ready to show off in those bad boys. But
can I just say something on that real quick? I will forever die on this hill. That was one of the worst rebrands I've ever seen a team go through. Like they abandoned the like navy and light blue.
You're talking about the Tides,
like color palette. Yeah. And they had like the Tide on the T, like the logo. And then they went to this like
the orange and
freaking
black, right?
seahorse. Yeah, it's like this. It's like green, orange, and black. It's like a seahorse. What are we doing? It was right there for it. You had it. You didn't need to change. Maybe like tidy it up a little bit, but to go to a seahorse, Come on.
Go Tides. Anyway. I call it Folk Town.
I love the Tides.
I love my time, the people and the time in Norfolk. But anyway, the Connect jerseys and stuff. I don't know. It seems it's very. You guys are polarized by it. I just don't. For me, it's you put the jersey on. All right. I guess for me is I don't the drops of it. I guess I don't really care about. Like when they're released, it doesn't excite me. It doesn't it's just there. That's all I got. I really don't have any.
I don't want the Yankees to have one. I can't even fathom what they're going to try to do.
Well, by the time they get around to the Yankees, they're going to re-release the current jerseys that they're wearing at that point. True. Because it's like funneling down. We started with these like grand concepts, like the Boston Marathon,
they're getting worse,
and South Side and all that stuff. And now it's just going to be like, hey, and you think I'm joking? Look at what the Braves just dropped. They literally took their throwback, made a couple tweaks, added the A, and then they're like, hey, this is our City Connect. Enjoy. So you think I'm joking?
Braves fans are so heated right now.
They might drop pinstripe, the current day pinstripe unis, and call it a day. They might just do that.
Yeah, like teams like the Yanks, I don't want to see. I just can't imagine it any other way. And not that I'm against it. It's just more of there's certain teams you go out there and throw whatever you want. The classic ones I like keeping the same.
But like with this effort, it's like if you had, like what Kyle said, if you had the actual connection to the city, if you tied some of those things in, like the Boston Marathon, like the South Side for Chicago, like the what was the Cuban team for the Sugar Kings?
The Sugar Kings, yeah.
Yeah, like when you tie that in, I'm on board. I can understand if you're doing something with that. But this effort is just like, Cincy?
It's trying to get engagement. It's
Cool.
It's trying to bring more excitement to teams, even bring more relevancy, talking points. Like I get the reasons why. I do. And for baseball, whether you like it or not,
it's more of a money grab.
It is more of a money grab, but you're also you want engagement. You want engagement. You want people to be talking about it. If it leads to the jerseys being bought, leads to other purchases, whatever, it's a part of it. Just personally for me, I never was a big guy about being flashy. I never had like this swag. Just never was my thing. So, yeah, I'm just.
I am shocked. A Ripken.
And
not being flashy,
crazy.
Never would have guessed. Never would have crossed my mind. Insane.
Did you ever wear tape or anything? Wristbands?
Not really. I occasionally in high school, I think for like the Under Armour high school game, I wore
sunglasses.
I have some sunglasses, but I actually had trouble seeing with the sunglasses on. So if I didn't have to wear them, I wouldn't.
Flip ones.
I wore maybe a couple of the.
Wait,
I was in Under Armour All-American game in high school.
Yeah.
So I played with Matt Olson, Byron Buxton. Guys were really good. I actually got hosed out. I was in Wrigley.
Where was that?
Wrigley.
Where was that one at? Wrigley.
I think it's always in Wrigley, isn't it?
No, I thought I remembered a couple of them being at
That's perfect
San Diego.
Game. So I remember Byron Buxton, though. He came. That's when I realized that Byron Buxton was really fast. And just like, wow, this guy's really got all the tools. It was I thought it was a blooper dropping in. And I'm like, no way he's catching this. And he caught it easily and then came up fire into first. I'm like, oh crap, he's going to double me off. They called me safe, but if you see the replay, I'm out. I am out. Because he threw the ball like 105. But anyway, yeah, got to experience that. That's probably the last time I felt like I wore armbands for a game. But yeah, good times. Yeah, but not flashy. I didn't know how to pull it off.
Well,
Did you ask Calvin for the flip up sunglasses? Can I borrow those?
You know what? I think I probably used over time some of the stuff when I started to fit, like sunglass wise, I think. But the flips, no. Again, like, yeah, but who am I to be able to do that? That ain't me. Now in this game, in the professional world, I'm going to try to look good in some suits. We're going to try to be looking good. Ryan's going to be trying to looking good if he's going to be on air. But as a player, yeah. And especially if you see the orange pants in Norfolk, they were tight. We were going tight fitted for that game. Swagger was not a word we would describe my outfit as.
I don't know if they've officially released them, but do you have any thought? Have you seen the Orioles leak?
I saw the leak, and that one I would have a problem with. But I don't know. I just like I don't know. I already just like the Orioles unis as they are. You know.
But do you see the point come out to like possibly make adjustments?
And again, I guess for me is I'm just not that invested. Like if I saw the leak, I didn't like the leak.
Yeah.
But I'm not one of those guys that's been dying or waiting for the drop of the City Connect jerseys. And again, it doesn't bother me at all. I'm for it. If you love them, awesome. If you don't, that's cool too. If they drop now or they drop 6 months or they never drop, I'm going to be okay. One way or another.
That was something I forgot to add to the resume conversation as politician, because you're just playing the people now. I was hoping to get a little bit more of a reaction from Ryan, but
but I mean, like, honestly, like I just
I just want to clarify. I'm not anxiously awaiting the drops and everything, because more than half the time, I forget that these are like what the release dates even are. Like there's graphics floating around on social with like the release dates for each year. And like I never pay attention to that. I just react to them when they get here. But when they do finally get here, and like Nate was saying, it's like that's it. Like that's what you put out. It's worth
I agree I agree of talking about it. I just meant, you know, I guess for me through all of it, I haven't had a moment where it's changed my opinion for either way. It's just like, all right, it dropped. I wasn't overly excited. I wasn't, but now that it's here, it's like, okay, maybe I like that one, or no. But I think some people get very wrapped up in it. I don't know. It's all part of the new way of branding. And if they look cool, I guess the other thing too, and maybe I hate saying this, like I probably just won't. I don't buy any of like jerseys, so I'm not going to be.
Do you ever do any jersey swaps?
We couldn't do that. We couldn't do that in the minors.
Guys?
Hey, let me give you the one jersey we have of this of this uni. Here you go.
That's a good point.
I saw, for me growing up, it was really when my dad's last year that I was able to. I think he swapped, and I got to pick one of the teams. That's why, like, for me, that was cool looking back. If anything, sometimes would swap bats with guys. You know, like, oh hey, but I'd be like, hey, like, oh, what are you swinging there? Oh, that's some model I've never heard of. Oh, like I'll give you one of. I'll take that bat. I'll give you one of mine. It's a log, but try it out. Great. Like that to me was cool. And then you'd have the name on it. And I have a few. I got to go back and look who's I swapped with there, because I have quite a few of those. I think that's the minor league version of swapping jerseys. Just swap bats.
That's fair.
Boom.
I like that.
Boom.
I like it. That's really all I had. I know, Ryan, you got to get out of here. Shocker. You got, as a man on a mission, got all sorts of things for today. But unless you guys had anything else, I think that was about all I had.
I'm good. Probably gonna figure out why my dog's barking. Ollie's becoming a man before my eyes.
Yeah.
Good old Ollie. Well, I mean, you're in a new place now. Like you moved. He's trying to get familiar with his surroundings a little bit. He doesn't know. He doesn't know what's going on outside.
He knows.
Less construction,
I will say this: he hadn't experienced cats very often, and he has just been perplexed.
Oh,
and there's a lot of street cats just hopping up around the area, and I don't know how these cats, if they don't have a home, there are some fat cats. They are getting fed. But that maybe he saw one of those. But stay tuned, guys. We'll keep you posted on the new Ollie adventures.
Well,
I like it.
The invitation's open. Whenever you wanna hop on, we'll be more than glad to have you. It's just a matter of whether or not we can find an hour in Ryan's day, Ryan's week.
Yeah. Try to do me a favor. Just shoot me over the boarding passes when you have my flight booked, and we will.
Yeah, just fly Nate out for like a weekend. Let's just pick a weekend series for the O's, and we'll go to all three.
I'll stay with you.
If it's a 4-gamer.
Me and Ollie will cuddle. It's all good.
Just shoot that over to him, and I'll be there as well.
Okay, yeah. Send me an invoice or whatever it is. Oh goodness, you guys. Well,
just bill me.
What a pleasure, guys. It's been a pleasure to come back on. But we definitely will do it again. Hopefully soon.
Love it. Don't go chasing curveballs, folks.
Where's Ryan's
no. Hey, rewind. I had my cup of coffee.
Let's run that back. Nate rewinds. Ryan,
give me
your
I'm over it.
and
as always, it's a great day to have a day. Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks.
That's a lot of days.
Have a great day, Nate.
For all the curveballs, watch out for the curveballs and don't go chase curveballs.
We love you all, and as always, looking forward to talking more baseball with you guys soon. Until next time, stay filthy.